Hey guys, what's up? Zach from All Strength Training. For today's video, I wanted to go over 5 different dumbbell movements for your chest that you may have never done. So the basic stuff when people do chest work with dumbbells, it's usually some sort of variation of flat or incline or decline, but there are other things that we can do. The benefit with dumbbells is dumbbells give you a lot of freedom. You get a lot of options for what to do with your elbows and to do with your hands. So I want to go over some of our favorite things to do in our facility where we don't have a ton of machines and we have to work mostly with barbells and dumbbells. So our very first on the list is going to be a fly to press. So a fly to press is a hybrid between a dumbbell fly and a dumbbell press. Basically what you'll do is you're going to do a dumbbell fly on the way down and then you're going to pull it up and then drive it up in a press. It's going to allow you to use a little bit more weight than you would use for a conventional fly, not as much as you would use for a regular press. So the benefit is that you can overload the pec on the way down because you can always lower more weight than you can lift. So if I'm somebody who would normally use, let's say, a pair of 30s for 10 reps on a regular fly, I might go up to 35s or 40s for this particular exercise. So what we're going to do, so we'll get our weights. Yeah, we're just going to go back into a regular fly position. From here, I like to really exaggerate the tempo on the way down. I don't like to go super fast, just because the weight you're using is going to be heavier, so I like to make sure we got total control. So we'll go decently slow. I like to go a tempo of about 3 or 4 seconds down. So you'll extend the dumbbells out just like you would with a conventional fly, okay? But instead of pressing them up or pulling them up, you're going to actually bring the weights in right beside your chest. Keep your chest up tall here, and then drive the dumbbells up to the top. So I'm maintaining a neutral grip so my palms are in the entire time. So again, slow tempo on the way down. Bring the dumbbells in and drive them up. Nice and slow, in and up. All right, if you've never tried that before, I would highly recommend that you give it a shot. Yes. All right, our second exercise is going to be a high incline dumbbell press. Most people, when they're using an incline angle, they're going to use something like this. It's going to be something at about a 30 or 40 degree angle. If you go to a commercial gym, most of the standard incline benches are typically set up in something in this position. I like to also mix in something around 60 degrees. The benefit here is anytime you change the angle, you change the muscle recruitment. Most people don't press this way. So even though you're not going to necessarily be as strong, this can help you break through strength plateaus just by using a pattern that you're not typically going to use. So one of the main things we need to look at when we're pressing at an angle like this is when we bring the weights back, we need to make sure that we protect the shoulder joint. So when you press, we're going to get the dumbbells down. We want the dumbbells to stay down here by the upper pec. We don't want the arm to be so wide that we're out here, all right? So we want to set ourselves in this position, and if you look at my arm from the side, I want to have it so that my elbow is directly underneath my wrist. If you don't have phenomenal shoulder mobility, you might find you tend to want to go into this position, but this is going to be pretty aggressive again on the shoulder joint. So when you see this thing moving, I tend not to like to use a completely overhand grip. I like to go for something that's somewhere in between overhand and neutral, so like this 45-ish degree angle. So when you look at the dumbbells, they're gonna sort of form a V as I go into my press. So when we get here, weights come back. Again, the dumbbells are in position next to my pecs. They're not way up by my shoulder joint. I'm driving up. So the weights end over my upper pecs. My arms are straight up and down. Okay, I've got my wrist, my elbow, and then my shoulders in one straight line. Again, control them down, let my arms come out at about a 45 degree angle. Weight right here, drive up. These are fantastic, like I said, for breaking through if you've been stagnant on an incline press. At 30 degrees, spending a training cycle where you prioritize this often will make you feel stronger when you go back to the angle that you're used to using. So definitely give those a shot. Okay, the next few movements that we're gonna look at, I'm gonna demonstrate these on a flat angle, but these can be done at a flat angle, an incline, or a decline. I do recommend not getting carried away with the angle. If you're gonna do these at an incline, I actually like to keep a little bit of a lower angle, maybe like 10 or 15 degrees. Just personal preference, find that they tend to be a bit more productive in terms of keeping the stress in the pecs. So the first thing we're gonna do is called a squeeze press. This can also be referred to as a hex press. The reason it's called a hex press is because it works the best if you have dumbbells like this where they're multi-sided, because we need to be able to get both of the dumbbells to make contact with each other. If you've got round dumbbells, it makes it pretty difficult to keep them in contact without them starting to slide all over the place. So the focus here is going to be on creating a lot of contraction in my chest. So if you're somebody who never really feels your chest, this is a great exercise to put at the beginning of a workout, just to prime the muscles for some of your bigger lifts after. So I want to bring my weights back. I would highly recommend trying to line the weights up when your arms are in the air, just so that way you're in a bit more of a stable position. So I've got the flat parts of the dumbbells together. From this position, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to smash the weights together. This is going to create tension through the inside of my chest. And this is a static position, so the weights are never going to move from this. But my intention is to keep pushing those weights into each other. So this creates an isometric contraction throughout the chest. I want to slowly bring them down. I don't need to bring them all the way down to my chest, because if you're someone who has kind of a narrow rib cage like I do, if you go all the way down, you might notice that my shoulders kind of cave in and collapse. Now, if you're somebody who's broader, you might be able to come all the way down to your chest and do just fine. But if I hit this position, I have to use a lot of triceps and a lot of shoulders to get back up to where I started. So instead, I just want to push in, and as soon as I feel like I can no longer maintain that pressure, that's where I want to end. So for me, it's 2-3 inches off my pecs, drive up, and then I like to push the weights right over my face. This just lets me really drive my elbows together as much as possible. So control the way down. Again, I want to keep that constant tension, keep my chest up and my shoulders back right about here, and then drive up. So like I said, a phenomenal movement to start a workout with, just to create a lot of tension throughout the chest before you go to your bigger stuff. All right, now our fourth exercise on the list is going to involve some movement through our hand and through our elbow. So we can manipulate what parts of the pec kind of get stimulated when we move throughout the press by rotating our hand and rotating our elbow. So the first movement that we're going to use with some movement of the hand is called a twist press. What this is going to look like is it's exactly what the name sort of sounds like. There's going to be some twisting of my arms and my hands. I'm going to bring the weights up. I'm going to work with a more or less overhand grip. I want to bring the weights down just like I would with a standard press. And then as I drive up, I'm actually going to rotate my pinkies together and try to drive my biceps into the side of my pecs. This is going to give me a little bit more tension throughout like the lower and outside parts of the pecs. I realize there are not separate lower and outer pecs, but that's where you're going to feel the muscle contraction. So again, I'm going to bring them down like a standard press, keep the chest up, drive the elbows in, rotate the pinkies toward each other. Here and up. Compared to a regular dumbbell press, I'm probably looking at maybe 60% of that weight. So if I usually use 100 pounds, I'm probably going to go with something like a pair of 60s. You're going to feel a significant decline in your strength, but at this point, we're not worried about the size of the dumbbells. We're worried about what can we do with our chest. So definitely give that one a try. All right, the very last exercise for today is called a key press. A key press is essentially the opposite of the twist press that I just showed you. So what we're going to do now, weights are probably going to be pretty comparable to the twist press. You might be able to get a little bit heavier on this one, but now we're going to reverse the directions where our hands are over and where our hands are rotated into a supinated position. So here, I'm going to start in my overhand position. Now what I'm going to do is as I lower down, I'm actually going to rotate and externally rotate my shoulder, bringing the weights down so my pinkies are essentially to the outside of my rib cage. My chest is up and the elbows are in a kind of like a 45-degree angle. Now this brings the pull a little bit lower into the pec. And as I rotate, I'm bringing more tension a little bit higher into the pec. So I like to visualize this like you're physically pulling the dumbbells down, like you're rowing them beside your chest. That way it creates a little bit more tension and keeps a little bit more stability. So I hit right here, and chest is way up, I drive up and in. The visual I like to use to explain this, it is literally like you are twisting a key inside of the lock. So we'll bring this down and then drive up. There we go. Okay, so if you've never tried these, I would highly recommend you rotate them into your next couple of chest workouts. If you like this video, make sure you like it below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel just so you can get more of these. If you like these movements, make sure you leave a comment. I'd love to know what you guys think.